What about you? Did you think you'd own your own business?
I still don't think I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you really?
I do, but I don't think of myself as an entrepreneur. And it's funny because when you said that word, I kind of twitched a little bit because for some reason I have a hard time, because I never thought I was going to be. I think I have a hard time grasping that concept for myself.
Yeah! Don't you eat any of that chocolate over there.
Scene one. I could feel the vibration. Is that too blue steel? This may never see the light of day, but
it's Alicia. That's all you need to know.
That's it. This is Alicia, Sam Madore, Michelle McCann, and we're on a couch in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Actually, we just did a podcast for Sam.
We're busy.
We're making the most of our time off.
This is how we take time off.
This is how we take time off. We have wine. We have chippies. We have, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking like a No Boats on Sunday type of watermelon thing.
Oh, yes.
Again, hashtag no sponsorship.
I know. Like, it's
and
probably...
I'm drinking a Stella that is too far out of my reach at the moment.
Fix that for you.
It's almost gone.
It is almost gone. I'm so proud of you.
I know. I've been nursing her.
Not that we're glorifying alcohol. I'm really more of a one and done thing. But So I was telling the girls that I'm working on this idea of how I want to present. I want to have conversations with people about how their life ended up probably nothing like they thought it would. They didn't take the path they thought they were going to, and good things came out of that. Maybe some bad things came out of it. And we are all three entrepreneurs. And I can promise you, if you had told high school Alicia that she was going to be an entrepreneur, she would have laughed in your face. That never thought I'd be capable of that. Did you guys think you'd be business owners?
If you had told me 10 years ago, I would have told you were on crack. In all honesty, I didn't ever think I'd take this route.
And aren't you 10 years in now?
8.
I knew it was a big one.
Yeah. I was like, I will never work for myself. I want the stability of working for somebody else. You got to be crazy to be self-employed.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Well, and also wondering what kind of skills I had to bring to the table to be self-employed. I was working in fundraising, and I was like, that's not something people do without an employer. Right.
And this is where you went to school in Wolfville.
No, I went to St. Vex. My
okay.
good friends from high school came here to go to Acadia. So I spent a lot of recreational time here.
I'm sure I would have had I been from here.
Oh, yeah.
What about you? Did you think you'd own your own business?
I still don't think I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you really?
I do, but I don't think of myself as an entrepreneur. And it's funny because when you said that word, I kind of twitched a little bit because for some reason I have a hard time, because I never thought I was going to be. I think I have a hard time grasping that concept for myself. I feel like I work for my clients. So I don't feel like it.
Funny.
Even though I know the difference.
It was funny. One of the very first people I had a contract with when I started, I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do for them, but it was a contract. It was money. And I was brand new, and you need money to pay bills. And
who knew?
Who knew? And he was involved with kind of the entrepreneur community. And he told me once that I wasn't an entrepreneur. I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was just self-employed. I'm like, but what's the difference? I still had to come up with the idea of what I do. Do I have staff? No. Do I have overhead? Not really. But you're still, I think anybody who's flying on their own is an entrepreneur.
It's so interesting you say that, because just recently my mom had said to me, I think I was telling her about some project I was working on, and she said, you're like an entrepreneur. And my dad said, she is an entrepreneur. And I thought it was funny that she wasn't making that connection either. And I mean, I never really think, I say I'm a small business owner. I don't very often say, I'm trying to get comfortable with using entrepreneur. That's what I'm using on social media. Like, I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, but it is, you have this idea, or you have an idea in your head that an entrepreneur is something, it's not you, but it's something out there that exists. I don't know who I would define as an entrepreneur.
That's the thing for me. Like, I think of somebody, and I do know who I would call an entrepreneur. I think of somebody like Mariah Carney, who owns My Home Mercantile and My Home Apparel. I think of her as an entrepreneur, because for me, it's like a tangible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of you guys as entrepreneurs too, because you're not me. But when I think of a traditional entrepreneur, I think of Mariah because she owns a storefront. She owns her business. Yeah. She owns multiple businesses that work together. Like, to me, that's what that looks like for me. And I just don't fit into that category.
She's not working for other people like we do. Like you and I work for other people.
We work for our clients.
Yeah.
But see, now that you define it that way, I would not think that. I think people who don't have a physical thing, like the three of us that do work for other people that don't have a tangible storefront. Like, I think of Mariah. Yeah, she's an entrepreneur, but I would go more with small business owner versus like three of us who, that's so strange.
That is really strange. I just think I have a hard time putting what I do into a category, period. So saying that, like, having a label or what, I don't know what it is about that.
Labels are hard.
It feels heavy. Yeah. And it feels very
concrete.
Yes.
It's like it's my commitment troubles. Is that what you're trying to say? My commitment problems. Michelle?
Welcome to therapy with us.
I'm pretty sure these are all.
This is an intervention for my commitment issues. Yeah.
But it's a heavy word that people put a lot of glamour around. You know what I mean? But they're
not, those people are not entrepreneurs. Yeah.
But people are like, oh, you know, it's all, you know, Dragon's Den and Shark Tank and all of that. People who want to change the world and disrupt thinking and blah, blah, blah. Well, not that there's a time and a place for that, but we're the ones who are there, you know, working our butts off for other entrepreneurs, like other small business owners. Cause that's what we do for the most part. Yeah. I think all three of us could sit down and have, like, you know, this incredible list of people who are entrepreneurs and small business owners that we help do their business.
Yes.
So yeah, I say entrepreneur, but I'm more likely to say small business owner, and then I'll say self-employed. Yeah. Like,
I didn't realize entrepreneur was such a dirty word.
Not dirty, just heavy.
Yeah, like heavy word.
Yeah, like
it holds a lot of weight for sure.
Yeah, and it feels very
like a lot of stigma if you're an entrepreneur.
No, it's not a negative thing for me. It's almost the opposite.
That you need to earn it.
Yeah, it's almost like I haven't earned the name yet because I haven't done enough of my own stuff to own that title of entrepreneur. That's how I look at it, and I'm sure that's totally different than what other people might say. But to answer your question, no, I didn't think I would be. I didn't actually answer your question.
What did you think? Like, what was your plan after high school or during high school? What did you think you were going to go do?
I never had one. And that's the reality. Like, I remember being really, I suffer from anxiety. I remember feeling the anxiety of, by the way, I suffered from anxiety in high school without knowing what I was suffering from. But if somebody were to ask me, what do you want to do after high school, that would send me into a tailspin because I had no idea. When people ask in job interviews, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That causes anxiety. I don't have a plan. I don't have a roadmap. I kind of just want to trust that the decisions that I'm making as I go along are the right ones when it comes to career. Right? And trust in the universe. And to a degree, obviously my own instincts in the moment. But I mean, for me, it's trusting that what I'm doing now is where I want to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Without sounding too wishy-washy.
No, but I feel the same. Like in high school, I had no idea either. I remember getting made fun of by my friends' parents because I was going into arts and not science. Well, what are you going to do with arts? Well, I don't know what I'm doing going to university. You know, it's just what you did. That was the logical next step. If you could afford to go and you had the grades to go, you did it. And I call like the 2 years after university, the freak my parents out years, because I bounced around. I went to Banff and then I came home and I moved to Ottawa and then I came home and then I moved to Banff and then I came home and couldn't find my way until I went to the community college for public relations. And it just happened to be, I honestly enrolled so I could move to Halifax.
You want to freak your parents out. You tell them a few years after the degree they paid for, you're going to be a tattoo artist.
Oh, awesome. My mom would have been like, you're going to what now?
That went well.
I'm sure it did.
I am one of the lucky ones, though. My mom said to me at some point in like maybe grade 11 that, you know, you should do graphic design. I think that would be really well aligned for you. And I looked into it and I was like, I think you're right. And that was it. And that's what I went and did. I don't do it now,
Right.
but it was a career in art. It was something I was interested in, and it seemed to be a promising career at the time, and it still is.
Yeah.
I kind of abandoned it to do other things, but yeah, that was it. I never wondered. I knew exactly what I was doing when I graduated.
That's awesome. Because when I did a psych degree, and for me at the time, it was like, again, you're in university, you feel like you have to be there. I didn't go the science psych route again. It was like, what? That's what we've been training you for these past, 12 years. But so I have a psych degree, and I do think that was worth my time to go to get that degree. But now that you're saying this, I feel like I always wanted to write. Like, I feel like writing has always been kind of part of what I wanted to do, and I'm starting to get back into that right now, which is kind of cool. So if you had have probably asked me something that I would have wanted to do, but not something that was going to make my career, I would have said that I wanted to write. And now I'm kind of able to work that into my life, which is kind of cool.
That is super cool.
That is really cool.
And that is literally what I want to do with this, is that I've met a lot of really cool people in my life, present company included. And
I thought you were going to say excluded.
I thought about it, but I want to share their stories. And I mean, so many people feel so lost and not sure that they're not doing what they wanted to do, or they didn't end up where they thought they would. And I mean, life has been incredibly twisted for, all of us and most people. And I'm definitely not where I thought I was going to be at the cusp of 39, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's very, life has, like you said, a lot of twists and turns. And the whole planning thing, I think the same thing. Where will I be in 5 years? 5 years older, hopefully happy. Like that I'm happy, not like happy all the time, insanely happy, but happy with my life, comfortable in what I'm doing, making enough money to pay the bills and travel again sometime.
Oh my gosh.
But living my life in a way I want to live it, which is what being self-employed has allowed me. That, I don't know if I could ever go back to a 9-to-5 job again, working for one company or one person, because I have so much variety that it keeps one client feeds the other client, and with ideas and that kind of thing. And I get to be creative and I get to do really cool things. But, for 10 years or through my 30s, when I was 29, it was the end of a relationship, and then I lost my job. And then I went through my 30s with, don't work in nonprofit if you're not ready and willing to be laid off every once in a while, because I was laid off from jobs in nonprofit in my, original fundraising career. And then my mom and dad got sick. And then it was just all of this stuff that was happening that was not my choice. So I was desperately trying to make sense of this life that all of a sudden had been kind of thrust upon me. But being self-employed was my choice. That I was like, okay, you know what? I'm leaving a good job. I'm leaving a good career. I'm not being asked to leave. I'm not being laid off. I was never asked to leave, but I'm not being laid off. I'm not losing this job. I'm walking away from it, and it's my choice to do it. And that was the first time I had ever made, not ever, but in about 10 years, that I had made a job 100%, or made a decision 100% based on what I wanted. And it worked out. So I just hope it keeps working out.
That's a really interesting perspective too, is that I made this decision for me. It wasn't made for me. It wasn't circumstances that were forced upon me.
Yeah. I didn't lose a job and have to do this. I didn't, it wasn't scrapping it together. Keep in mind, I had no plan for starting my business. I just kind of jumped and went, okay, it'll sort itself out. And it did.
See, I told you.
Well, it does. It does. I mean,
there is a way, and I don't want to sound, what I'm saying. I don't want to sound like I'm completely
the universe
provides. But when it comes to career decisions, I feel like that has been my path. And so I've trusted that.
And even when things go wrong, good things come after.
Totally.
That's all. And that's been both of our...
it's very much like have you ever read anything on the Stoic philosophers?
No.
So I just finished this great book. Tyson read it. He's like, I think you'd really enjoy this, called The Stoic Challenge. And it was a friggin' game changer on mindset. I don't know if I'm going to have explicit on this or not. I know we haven't dropped the bomb, but I feel like it's going to happen. So we should just throw out swear words. Yeah. But anyway, the Stoic Challenge is all about reframing of things, and like a learning that when a challenge comes to you, that it's just a wrinkle put in your path by the Stoic gods to see how you can handle it. And taking the emotion out of like having a flight delay and not getting angry with the airlines or the circumstances, and just say, oh, well, here's a chance to now stay in this city I never would have got before. And now I have this night to relax. Or it's all in how you frame it. If you frame it to always be a positive thing or a learning experience or something like that, anyway, I highly recommend it. But yeah, it is all about how you look at it, and whether it's a setback, it's taking setback out of your vocabulary. Everything is a new challenge, a new chance.
And it's not being done to you. I think that's the big thing, right? That you're changing that mindset of like, oh, how can this happen to me? Well, 50 other people have a canceled flight, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly. It's so true. Did you think you were going to be an entrepreneur or a small business owner, or?
No, not at all.
No. And so when did you make that decision, that leap?
I mean, I kind of made it, I trusted my gut, and left a job similar to what Michelle was just saying. And felt like, you know, I was working for a board, and I found that challenging because
I couldn't do it.
Right. I mean, it was good in a lot of ways, and having that support is great, and having that collaboration is great. But for me, it just didn't make sense, the structure that was there and all of the pressures that came from that. So I left my job and quite organically decided to take on a couple of contracts here and there, which developed into an entrepreneurship, I guess, which I didn't really see coming, but it's been really great because, like Michelle said, it's the opportunity to take on different contracts and have that variety that I wasn't getting in a job that was focused on one goal every day, or you know, multiple goals every day, I guess. But I'm able to be creative in ways that I wasn't able to with just one boss.
And how long have you been doing the Women's Social Network?
I took a break for a little bit, but I started it, I want to say 2016.
I think
I came to Truro in 2014, and I know I wasn't there super long when you started having the social gatherings.
Maybe it was longer than that. Jeez, I'm terrible.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I'm terrible at that. But a long time, and it's developed and flowed with whatever I happen to be doing, and I really love where it's at right now. And that's one of the things that I love being able to do, is connecting with women and creating this kind of camaraderie and connection between the women entrepreneurs locally.
And that's a key thing too. I always say that I'm not sure if I would have followed this path if I lived in a different place.
Very true.
So when I first started, I was like, okay, I could always fall back on my career, or if I have to move back to the city, I can sort something out. But living in Truro it doesn't make it easier to be a small business owner, but there's a support system that I'm not sure that you have in other places.
Yeah.
You know, we don't all know each other, but there's a nice little web of self-employed people, of business owners, of, you know, retail shop owners, that sort of thing, that they all talk to each other, and we all kind of have a similar, you know, not a similar story, but that underlying bit about being self-employed. We all have kind of similar stresses, paying the bills, or paying your staff if you have it, and making sure you can eat, you know? So that's the ultimate, is you just want to be able to pay the bills and move on to the next thing. So that support system, I think, has been huge in keeping me going for 8 years.
Yeah.
And knowing that there's other people out there that when you're having a hard day, I mean,
you can reach out.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things actually was we collaborated on a Women's Social Network event. And when I asked people, what we wanted to do was have a panel of entrepreneurs in various different fields at various experiences in their career, and ask them questions. It was like, I need to know from other people what's happening. And when that was over and I talked to a few people, like, how did you find it? Was it good? Most people said, honestly, it was so good to know I'm not the only one who goes home and cries on the bathroom floor some days.
Yeah.
And it was like, that struck me so hard that it was just about the shared, it didn't matter what information they took about, they just knew they weren't alone in the whatever struggles they were going through.
And it's that authenticity too of the speakers that makes you feel comfortable now going up to those panelists and saying, hey, you know, I saw you at that panel.
Yeah.
you know, or maybe they'll go to that business, or maybe, you know, it's that connection and those sort of that collaboration that's there.
Mm-hmm. And we all think that we're unique, even in our struggles. So it's like, no, I'm the only person this has ever happened to.
Just a couch full of unicorns.
But it's true. And then when you hear other people talking about it, I know especially
with problems, like you think you're the only one having these failures or struggles.
Yeah, but everybody has done it. Everybody has had hiccups. Everybody has had issues. And there's so much, you know, if we just open up about it, it's the same with things like mental health. We feel like we need to keep it in. When you're self-employed, you feel like you need to exhibit this kind of big words, exhibit this facade of perfection, but that you have it all together. And that you're like, okay, I'm a boss lady. I'm going to go and
keep this front that everything, like social media, everything's shiny, everything's good. I'm a huge success, but underneath I am crying inside.
Because will people continue to hire me if I am a solo entrepreneur who puts it out there that I'm struggling?
Yeah, exactly right. So you take a picture of a cup of coffee and say, oh, great meeting today. And meanwhile, you're at home going, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't have any meetings today.
No meetings. This is the coffee shop by myself.
That's so funny. It's so true.
But it's, so I think we're all, and especially as women, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not a guy. I can't speak for them. But I think as women, we put extra pressure on ourselves to be more, not more than we need to be, but just to show even our friends that we're doing better than we might be. Right. So you're lucky when you're in a position where you can be vulnerable and we can have conversations like this and say, you know, well, today really sucked and this is why, and I have a client doing this and I just need to blow off steam, because that one of the big things people don't talk about, you know, self-employment is the loneliness in it. You know, when you work for a company or an organization or whatever, you have your coworkers to bitch to. It's like, oh my God, the boss is being such an arse today, where I can't bitch to my client about my client. And
you can't bitch on social media because
I like my job and I like my house and I'd like to keep it.
I like living. I like paying bills. I like the life I've become accustomed to.
Exactly. So you just...
I bitch about my boss all the time.
Well, your boss
my boss is an arse.
The worst.
And it was really moody.
Yeah.
I was going to make a joke about how it's Bert and he just farts while you're on meetings. If I didn't say Bert, it was like just always farting. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Bert, my dog. I feel like I need to also say that just in case.
Not her husband. No. Sorry, Joey.
No. But it's a lonely place to be when things are not going well. And even when things are going well.
Yeah.
Like celebrations aren't, you know.
Christmas parties were the hardest part for me. I missed having a work Christmas party. It's like, I know I can throw it, but it's not the same as going to having something done for you that you just show up to, and, you know, it's a dinner that's provided, some fun. Christmas parties was the hardest thing for me.
Yeah. And it's, and just, the celebrating of positive things, you know, if you
achievements, milestones, 8 years in business.
Exactly. Well, you finish a project and it's kind of like, okay, it's done. And then you move on to the next. And it was just like, but yay. Yay me.
Just a little confetti popper.
Yeah.
That you just do at your desk.
I did that today. So, yeah.
Well, I can't see the timer, so I'm not really sure how long we went because I have it covered over with the video. But I've been working on rapid fire questions because that's,
oh God,
I know, but that's some of my favorite things on some interviews. Of course, now I have to find them. One thing, what would be your dream? I don't want to say goal or job, but like for me, my dream, I want to write a book. That was one of my goals. I want to write a book, a nonfiction book as well. That is a goal, dream goal I have at life still. What about you?
Mine is the ability to travel whenever I want to travel. Honestly, I miss it terribly now, but you know, to have at least the financial means to be like, okay, I'd like to go here, here, and here this year. And because my work is portable, being able to just go and work when I need to and that sort of thing, I that's a huge thing for me. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, you stole mine.
I know.
Mine,
I feel bad that I threw it in there first. Cause like, but you're doing, well, I don't want to shorten it. It's like, you are going to do it. Do you have other, like, I'm going to have Brene Brown on my podcast or something? Like, what's your lofty goal?
I mean, I don't know. I would have said exactly what you said.
Right about,
so
best-selling authors.
Yep.
That would be good. Okay. That was just one of them. I'm working on some other
And I'll
ones
cheer them on.
Yep.
From like Spain.
What's your favorite snack?
We just had them Cheetos. I am
regular straight up Cheetos.
For regular straight up Cheetos. I am a sucker for them. Mm-hmm. If I'm having a healthy snack, I also like apples dipped in peanut butter.
I do like that. And then I've recently also added dipping that peanut butter covered apple in chocolate chips. I shouldn't tell you because it's ruined my life, but yes. What's your favorite snack?
On the same lines, actually, like peanut butter cups, Reese's peanut butter cups, any size, any rendition.
I love peanut butter. I cannot do peanut butter cups.
They're rich.
Reese's. Yeah.
But I could put that in my mouth like hand over fist. Like a hungry squirrel hibernating.
Hence why the pants don't fit.
We're like leggings all the way. We're in straight comfort mode here. If you could have anyone as a dream client, who would it be?
Oh, ask Michelle first.
Oh, God. In all honesty, I've had a client that I thought was going to be like my ultimate client, and it wasn't.
Oh,
it did. Well, it was fine, but it wasn't what I expected it to be. So my idea of a dream client, I actually, not to like kiss butt or anything, but I have dream clients now because they let me play and they trust me. So I can, I have a couple of clients I've had for years, 7, 8 years, that if I say I have an idea, they say, okay.
Okay. Which I appreciate, but we're talking shoot for the stars here. Like, even if you somehow you love Comedy Fest, if you could have anybody for Comedy Fest, or if you could work with any project out there, what would you absolutely just like? I can retire now because I've done this.
Oh my God. That's really big. Okay, you do, because now I have to think more. I had a really profound answer, and you're just like, no, that's not good.
And no, I didn't say that. That's amazing, and I'm super happy for you because so many people don't have. But I want more.
I want to work for Mel Robbins.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I actually submitted a video to work for her once. Like, she did one of these, like,
good for you.
But I didn't obviously get it.
No, but still, the fact that you even put the submission in
totally
is
did
huge.
It, and I couldn't even believe that I did it. And I had to actually, I actually used Mel Robbins 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just do it when I sent it, because I was like, I can't overthink this.
Send.
Right? Yeah. I was like, I will never send it. Anyway, so she's my. I love her. She's amazing.
Yes, I agree with you.
So she's my answer.
Love it.
God. For me, I love comedians and entertainment and that sort of thing. And honestly, I think, and he's going to laugh if he ever watches this, there's a comedian who I consider, when he watches this.
That's right.
Not if ever.
When it's an award-winning vlog.
Yes, exactly.
Being downloaded like crazy.
And he's not
podcast.
He's not a huge name yet, but he will be. And he's a comedian, a stand-up comedian, but he's also a prolific writer of one-man shows. And he's really good at marketing himself. So I would love to work with him to learn from him about marketing entertainment. And his name's Mike Delamont. He's based in Victoria. He's having a tough year this year because COVID, and that's not good for stand-up comedy / performance. Joked recently that he recently canceled his 200th show. So,
oh my God, that's incredible.
But he has this incredible sense of humor, and he's so talented. And I think that that's a huge thing. When you get to work with somebody who has incredible talent at what they do, and you admire their talent. And he's one of those people that I just look and go, you're so good. Like, these one-man shows, like when I watch anything that Sam has written that's on stage, and I'm just like, oh my God, that came out of my friend's head. I think the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
meanwhile, we're like, oh my God, that came out of my friend's head. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But you know when, if you work with somebody who you kind of envy their abilities, I think
we were
that's a big
talking
thing.
in Sam's podcast that we also just did, because we were milking this weekend for all it's worth. We were talking about how her joy and success is ours.
Yes.
Because we know her. And when people come up to us that don't know her saying, yeah, I really enjoy that podcast, you're like, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes. I will pass it along.
Yeah, it's true.
I know her.
Yeah.
She's my friend. But I think that that's a real sign of, there's no competition. Mm-hmm. We the three of us do very similar work, yet we're just like, that's a real special thing, I think, because it's so easy to just be like, oh, I want to do what she's doing.
Mm-hmm. Why am I not doing that?
Exactly. And for me, I've needed to let go of looking at things that people do and go, but I'm not jealous of them because I don't want to do that anyway. Mm-hmm. If you look at people who, because I'm not great at, obviously I babble a lot, so I'm good at kind of the storytelling aspect of what I do. I'm not great at teaching, but when I see, people who do what I do and they're hired to do courses and all of this, like, I don't want to spend 40 hours over 10 weeks teaching people about social media. Mm-hmm. I can't be jealous of the fact that they get asked and I don't, because I don't want to do it.
Right.
So that's a big, anyway, I diverged.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. And the last one I want to end on is, how do you treat yourself?
Oh, God. Well, in the past year, it's been a lot of peanut butter snacks.
You should have bought that peanut butter sweater today.
I should have. It just wouldn't have fit me, but that's okay.
It was a weird stuff, but peanut butter snacks. What about you?
I thought it.
Fair. Right. Got it. It got bought. It was a delightful friendship line.
How do I treat myself? I struggle with treating myself. Truthfully.
Oh my God, I do not.
You don't struggle? So
no.
What do you do to treat yourself?
Oh, because I didn't want to hijack yours, but I mean, it ranges from the treat of a purchase. I'm like, I am going to buy myself like the pink hat I bought a little while ago. Yeah. Or I love to treat myself on Sundays to a bath with a Lush bath bomb and my book, whatever book I'm reading. That is a goddamn treat every weekend. I didn't get to do it today, and there's no bathtub here.
No, there's not.
So I'm a little.
I failed at the Airbnb search for a bath.
Well, I mean, I didn't request it, but yeah, like those are probably the two things of my favorite treating myself to a purchase. Like I've done good on money, or I've hit financial goals. I paid this off or whatever, or I made a little extra. I have some extra spending money, or Tyson, God love him, sends me money every now and then. He's like, go treat yourself. I'm like, it's okay. Which is what I did today.
And I joke about peanut butter cups, but
no, that's a delicious
treat. Past year, how I work, I consider to be a treat to myself, because I've really defined the difference between my work time and my non-work time.
That's huge.
My laptop, which, it's 17 inches, so it's fairly big, has not come out of my office since last May. It stays in the office. I don't work on my couch anymore. So I have actual time.
Boundaries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which, it's not, a tasty treat, but it's made my life.
Oh, listen,
I don't feel guilty.
We're getting into tasty treats. No, that's a whole other show.
Anyway, Sam, it's your turn.
How do you know? I don't mean to say this as like any kind of martyr or like, I do really struggle. I do enjoy retail therapy, so which may or may not be a good thing. So I don't want to necessarily condone it if you don't have the money. But
retail therapy could be, we thrifted today. Like that was retail therapy.
And you were very, very selective in your thrifting. You didn't just buy everything.
That is true. But for me, it would be like a nice pair of boots or something like that, where it's like something that I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of and something that I really love.
And see, I think of times when I remember, I think it was it wasn't last year, because last year was a shit show. The year before that, there was a time in the not too distant past where you were staying at Canberra Sands and you had finished a book in a day. I don't remember what book it is.
Oh, I do. It wasn't it? No, it wasn't Ellie Kemper, was it?
I don't know, but it was. I remember you making a post about how you finished that book in the day. To me, I think it was like, I bet you that was a treat for yourself to be able to take that day and dedicate it to reading that book in a comfortable chair with a blanket.
It was Mindy Kaling. Sorry, that was going to bug me. That was going to drive me crazy if I couldn't think of it. But yeah, I guess maybe I don't think of that stuff as treating myself, but ultimately it is.
Oh man, a bath to me is when I have time to get in a hot bath with a bath bomb and bubbles. That's a treat.
And truthfully, the fact that we were at Canberra Sands would have been a treat as well. The fact that we came here this weekend would be a way of treating myself.
Treats!
Right? So yeah, I just think I need to reframe what that looks like for me.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for doing this. This is the first in-person life simulator. Haven't landed on the, I think simulated is,
it just,
and whether it's going to have
more direct. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm into it. I need feedback. So thank you very much. We're going to continue our indulgent weekend of self-care. This is our treat.
Yes, it's our treat.
To us.
Treat yourself.
Yay. Treat yourself. That's awesome. I love it.
All right.
That wasn't live anywhere, was it?
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and tell a friend. Tune in next week for AI and robotics entrepreneur Mike Riscala.